All right. Your instructions say to rewrite each decimal number below using expanded notation. You can see the previous video on page 28. You don't need help with that part. Rewrite each number below using expanded notation. Then add the whole numbers and add the fractions to write the decimal as a mixed number. And so let's do this section together. 371 and 45 hundredths. That's going to be 300 plus 70 plus 1 plus 4 tenths plus 5 hundredths. And so when we write it as a mixed number, we're going to write down the whole number part, which is 371. And now we'll write down the fraction part, which is going to be 45 100ths. And so the way we got the 45 100ths is when you think back to our diagrams from earlier. So for example, on page 26, you see that 5 tenths is the same thing as 50 100ths. 5 tenths is equivalent to, it's worth the exact same amount as 50 100ths. You'll see that the 3 tenths is worth the exact same amount as 30 hundredths, and so we had 37 hundredths here. And so I do not want you to do like these additional calculations. I just want you to think about the diagrams. Here they're simply converting 5 tenths, and they've multiplied by 10 tenths. There's Shifu to make 50 100ths. 50 100ths plus 2 100ths gives us 52 hundredths. But we can read that straight from the decimal notation. 52 hundredths, 45 hundredths, 19 hundredths, 25 hundredths, 23 hundredths, 82 hundredths, 5 hundredths, 4 hundredths. So when you're going through, you will put them in expanded notation on your own. But let's write them as a mixed number together. So 283 is my whole number part. And I can read that straight from the decimal number. 283, 283, and 19 hundredths. I'm reading it straight from the decimal part. 19 hundredths. 705 is my whole number part. So 705 and 25 hundredths. And so you can read them straight from the decimal part. We're using equivalent fractions. 2 tenths is the same thing as 21 hundredths. 1 tenth is the exact same amount as 10 100ths. Things like that. But we can read it straight from the decimal part.